One of the best ways I think that we can be a part of climate action, especially as youth right now, I think is knowledge exchange. Right here on the top left corner of South Korea, and it is the capital of South Korea, the Cheonggyecheon restoration. Now, let me explain what that is. So the Cheonggyecheon stream, it's the stream. Cheonggye is the name, and Cheon means stream. And so the Cheonggyecheon stream, and this is the image of Seoul. And I have actually drawn for you guys nice in blue for you guys to see where Cheonggyecheon is. Um, and so it's an 11-kilometer urban stream that goes through the heart of Seoul, right through the middle. That's actually the central business district of Seoul. And one interesting case is that the Cheonggyecheon, if you see this image here, that's the late 60s. After the Korean War, which put a halt in 1953, Korea was very underdeveloped. Everything was gone. That looks pretty bad. But this actually became an expressway, the Cheonggyecheon Expressway. It started building in the late 60s and then completed in around 1971. And it became an expressway that actually covered the entire stream and became actually a symbol of development in Seoul. But at the same time, while this was a very good expressway with a bunch of cars going through, it was leading to environmental issues and also economic issues at the same time. And the government started realizing that later on. And so some of the problems, just to describe briefly, the first one is the air pollution issue that this was causing. So a lot of cars were causing emissions and nitrogen oxides and carcinogenic volatile organic compounds, including like benzene, were causing really big health issues. And so this became a health threat to Seoul. And at the same time, the urban heat island effect covering that entire stream with concrete led to this area becoming much hotter. And also traffic, while 170,000 cars going through every day, it is good for transportation, but at the same time, because of all the environmental issues that were resulting from it, this led to this area to become less competitive as a place for businesses to go, for people to live in. And last but not least, ancient historical relics were actually buried underneath this expressway. And so while this big expressway was a symbol of development at first, later on the government realized the problems. And in 2002, the Seoul Metropolitan Government actually made a very bold and big decision that we hadn't seen before. It was to actually demolish this entire expressway and to restore the stream and create a public space right there instead. And this was going to be a very, very large project. 386 million US dollars were going to be put in. And so their vision at the time was actually, if you read this quote, the Seoul Metropolitan Government sought to restore the water circulation system, the source of life, through the restoration of Cheonggyecheon, to revive the ecosystem's natural self-sustaining capacity, and to create an urban stream with nature. So that was the kind of vision they had, a very big and bold vision that they had. And so this actually led to a shift in sustainable development in the area. A lot of street businesses that were going to, have to put a halt to their business, maybe have to relocate and all of this. And the government made sure to hold a lot of meetings so that it wouldn't just be a top-down, but more also encouraging the public to take part in the decision-making. And they had to improve the public transport because there's going to be a whole huge expressway that was going to be gone, right? And also flood control. And so this whole construction started in July 2003 and until the grand opening in 2005 October. There were very good, verifiable impacts that it led. And so environmentally and economically and culturally, there was so many benefits that we could see. First, the air and water quality improved immensely. I'll talk a little bit more about that. Urban heat, noise levels reduced, wind corridors were created, making the urban heat island effect to decrease. Economically, it became much more competitive. It became a business district that was going to revive again, and people were going back here. And culturally, it became also the heritage, the was restored, but also it just became a much more pedestrian-friendly area for everybody to enjoy a public space. Some birds and fishes. They actually, if you go there today, you can see a lot of fish and birds and ducks and everything living there. And the urban heat island effect, almost 4 degrees Celsius, it got cooler in the area once the stream was restored. And the air quality, nitrogen dioxide, and also particulate matter, 10 diameters, 10 micrometers, right? It all decreased immensely, as well as the water quality. So biochemical oxygen demand decreased immensely. And now there are over 64,000 visitors a day here. And what's really impressive here is that actually, if you see the public survey here for water, air, noise, odor, daylight, wind, excluding this tiny portion that people saw it to be unchanged, the majority, maybe 70 to 80% of the people, thought that it was a huge improvement in the area. This is what it looks like today. And also, actually, well, this exact street, I used to work right next to this place. And so during lunchtime, I would grab my lunch and then I would take my walk here. Very refreshing to see the nature. And it just really, I am one of the 60 whatever thousand people that visit there every day. And it became a huge success. And I want you to remember that while it required a lot of bold decisions, like it's something that we need to keep in mind to be able to take for these kind of changes to be happening.